The courtroom is quiet, but the atmosphere is heavy, bordering on suffocating. Shuffling papers, scratching pens on legal pads, and all eyes are on the man in the middle, Kody Brown. But this is never a moment the cameras ever recorded. On these walls are documents hidden so deeply that not even Meri, Janelle, and Christine were aware they existed. Secrets regarding money, land, and decisions that can destroy reputation, all buried beneath piles of legalese. And today, the truth is finally emerging. Each word, each signature, each line on these documents has the ability to kill trust, rewrite history, and leave the Brown family broken in perpetuity. You're about to enter a tale TLC would never broadcast, a tale of heartbreak, betrayal, and the relentless search for truth. Before we begin, ask yourself, if someone attempted to conceal everything from you, how far would you go to discover it? Morning sunlight streams through the high courtroom windows, flooding the polished floor with long shadows. Kody sits in the defendant's chair, his back stiff, face white but calm. The whispers of lawyers and reporters fade into the distance, although the cameras never made it this far. Across the room, Meri's hands clutch the edge of the wooden bench, her eyes flick between the judge and the stacks of folders that seem impossibly high on the attorney's table. She had always trusted Kody, she had always believed that somehow he would keep their family safe. But today, doubt sits heavily on her shoulders. Janelle's jaw clenches, Christine's arms folded protectively across her chest. Each woman has a past with Kody. Love, betrayal, sweet-sounding promises. And now, in this cold, charged room, those pasts meet with hard, unassailable facts. Kody's lawyer starts to talk, voice steady, too scripted. Your Honor, these papers are privileged. They represent confidential information about financial assets and personal letters. Meri swallows hard, attempting to stabilize herself. The words slap her in the face. Documents, sensitive, hidden. And just like that, all of a sudden, everything they thought they knew about Kody can come undone in an instant. The first folder is opened. A wispy scent of paper and ink wafts into the room, combined with the muted aroma of wood polish and stress. The first document glides across the table by Kody's attorney, unfamiliar signatures, figures that don't balance, and a blueprint that had been withheld from all three women. Robyn sits motionless beside Kody, her hands clasped, a small shake coursing through her palm. She understands the secrets. She had caught glimpses of some of these letters in stolen moments, when Kody believed no one was watching. But even she is astonished at the magnitude of what the lawyer has now shown. Christine slouches forward, eyes narrowing. This was concealed from us? Everything? She queries, shaking voice, but rising with accusation. The judge looks up, pushing glasses back up his nose. We're here to get to the bottom of things, he says sternly. And we will examine every document presented. Meri's heart pounds. She thinks back to quiet mornings in their Utah home, to whispered conversations that now seem like lies. What Kody had told them, what he had promised, had it all been orchestrated behind closed doors? Janelle's fingers drum on the bench, a staccato rhythm of anger and frustration. How could he not tell us? Her voice is a soft but sharp echo in the courtroom, rebounding off the walls like a warning. Kody leans forward in his chair, looking at Robyn, and then at the women. He opens his mouth, as if to clarify, but the seriousness of the moment holds him back. The papers speak a tale he can't talk over, a tale of backroom deals, hidden promises, and deeds that might destroy lives. A clerk gives the judge another folder. It is thicker and heavier than the first one, and looks more important. Robyn slowly, intently, turns the pages. Every line tells more than tome. Every page turns like a knife, twisting deeper into the heart of the Brown family. And there's no turning back now. The women exchange looks, disbelief, anger, sorrow, and the kind of hurt that no reality show could ever capture. Meri's eyes well up, and she presses a hand to her chest. Christine's face hardens. She leans in, scanning each page with a gaze sharper than any lawyer in the room. Janelle bites her lip, fighting the words she wants to scream. And Kody? He's a combination of calm and panic. A man who knows he's backed into a corner, but can't help but attempt to maintain a veneer of control. But beneath that, he's seeing years of deceit catch up to him, little by little. As the first hour wears on, a silence falls. The heaviness of the papers, the lawyer's measured explanations, and the slow pace of the judge make an almost intolerable tension. The women are left to grapple not only with what is written on paper, but what it does to the trust, once that bound them. Then, just as the session appears to level out, the judge stops. He glances over at Kody, then at the women, and utters something that drops everyone's jaw. And in that one sentence, the future of their family, their trust, and their lives hangs by a thread, and nobody knows what will snap first. The clock in the courtroom tick-tocks, slow and unyielding, as the first papers are stenciled into evidence. But even as the pens scratch on paper, the actual tale, the tale of intentions, betrayals and secret schemes, is only just unfolding. Meri, Janelle and Christine share one last look, unspoken questions smoldering in their eyes. What other secrets had Kody concealed? How far reached the secrets? And would they ever be able to heal from what they were about to find out? The camera sweeps across the rows of folders, the weight of the past and present bearing down on all the people in the room. One file stands slightly apart from the others, heavier than the rest, as if it knows its own significance. And in that tense, quiet moment, the story is evident: this is by no means finished, and the worst is yet to come. The folder alone on the table weighs heavier than any responsibility the Brown women have ever borne. The pages inside conceal transactions, clandestine letters, and choices Kody believed he could keep hidden forever. Each time they look at the page is a punch, each signature a betrayal. And here, in this court, the reality won't stay concealed. Meri leans forward, eyes wide, feeling the weight of years of lies pressing down. Janelle grips the edge of the bench so tightly her knuckles whiten, and Christine's breath catches, heart racing with a mix of fear and vindication. Kody knows the secrets are out, but even he doesn't know how far the fallout will reach. If someone you trusted utterly kept secrets for decades, how far would you go to find out each and every one of them? The courtroom is colder now, as if the walls themselves know there is tension. The judge gently raps his gavel, marking the start of what may be the most volatile portion of the hearing. Papers rustle, pens scratch, and the soft buzz of air conditioning sounds disturbingly loud. Kody sits still, but in his mind, his brain is racing. He feels each glare from Meri, Janelle and Christine like a knife entering his body. Each woman's face says it all: shock, anger, sorrow and betrayal that seeps deep into the heart. Robyn, tight-lipped but poised, sits next to him, watching quietly, her tightly clasped hands in her lap. The lawyer resumes speaking, voice firm, regulated, near cold. Your Honor, what we have before us are records detailing money distribution, personal letters, and decisions made in ignorance of Meri, Janelle, and Christine. Meri leans back, catching her breath. She knew there were arguments, knew that Kody had always kept some finances a secret, but this is more than anything she can imagine. Her thoughts revert to family gatherings, whispered vows, Kody's vague explanations, all potentially deceptions. And as each page is revealed, the Brown women begin to realize that their entire family history may have been written in shadows. Janelle's eyes contract, keen and intense. She leans forward, focusing on the folder in the judge's hands. Every dollar, every choice, kept secret from us. Her whisper is almost too quiet to hear, but it bears an intolerable burden. Christine's eyes cross hers, and for an instant there is wordless comprehension. They have been lied to on purpose for years. The judge turns over the first page, slowly, carefully, and the room collectively takes a deep breath. The paper outlines a sequence of property purchases, signed documents, and exchanges none of the women had knowledge of. The amounts are staggering, and so too are the implications: real estate investments, financial transactions, and business deals done by Kody and his inner circle. Robyn moves involuntarily, her serene demeanor wavering for the first time. She had known some of these choices, but even she is appalled at the scope. The air in the room thickens as each page is turned, tension so heavy it can be choked on. Kody throat clears, trying for control. This isn't what it looks like, he begins, voice clipped, strained. But the words don't work. The proof doesn't lie. The papers are clinical, factual, and incriminating in their specificity. Meri's hands shake, placed on the bench. She regards the folders as if they're weapons, cutting and deadly, and in a sense they are. Years of trust, family ties, and whispered vows are being torn apart before her very eyes. Christine hovers forward, words firm but cold. "Kody, how could you do this to us?" The judge nods, his eyes scanning the room with a calculated regard. "We will consider each document thoroughly. All concerned will be given a chance to react, but it is evident that there are some grave issues here about disclosure and transparency. In this room, secrets don't remain buried, and for the Browns, the truth is more explosive than any of them could have dreamt." Another folder is produced. This one is thicker, nearly foreboding in its presence. The women look at one another, a combination of fear and expectation dancing in their eyes. Kody's fists tighten, though his hands remain on the table. He already knows what is within. The air in the room thickens, becomes more oppressive, like the eye of a storm. Christine leans in, looking at the fringes of the folder, seeing faint markings in the margins, almost imperceptible, unless you know how to look. She breathes softly in Janelle's ear. "These are not just financial reports. These are personal letters, plans we were never supposed to see." Meri bites her lip, holding back tears. She never wanted to be in this place, never wanted to witness Kody's secret life in black and white. But now, presented with irrefutable truth, she can't turn her head. Every document is like peeling away another layer of betrayal from memory. The judge opens the folder, scanning the pages slowly. The courtroom becomes quiet. Lawyers' pens linger, notebooks poised. Each second ticks longer than the previous one. Each disclosure is like a punch. Unauthorized actions, private promises to Robyn, and silent omissions of Meri, Janelle, and Christine. Robyn looks over at Kody, her eyes wide with fear and guilt. Even she can feel the tension building too thick to ignore. The women's emotions are a tempest: anger, heartbreak, and the bitter knowledge that trust can be forever shattered. With each discovery, their past together becomes a battleground, and nothing will ever be safe again. Kody moves, at last speaking. "I was trying to protect everyone," he says, but it comes out with no force, an empty sound against the heaviness of the papers. Meri's eyes begin to well with tears, shaking her head in amazement. Janelle waves her hands in frustration, and Christine's lips purse in anger. The judge leans forward. "This is only the beginning. There are additional documents that could further clarify the intentions behind these decisions. All parties must prepare for more revelations." A clerk brings forward a third file, bigger, nearly intimidating. It's obvious that this session is anything but finished. The women examine it with dread and expectation, recognizing that whatever is in it might change everything. And just when they think they've seen the worst, the next folder threatens to destroy everything they thought they knew about their family, their marriage, and the man they trusted most. The camera sweeps across the women's faces, recording raw emotion, shock, sorrow, and seething rage. Each woman responds in a different way, but the silent comprehension is identical. The hidden documents were never intended to be exposed, and now nothing can hold back the truth. As the session closes for a brief recess, the weight of the revelations hangs heavy in the air. Outside the courtroom, whispers begin, and the women exchange quiet, tense words. Meri's voice trembles. "I can't believe he did this." Janelle nods, tight-lipped, and Christine simply stares at the ground, a storm of emotions churning silently. Kody remains seated, looking outward, trying to anticipate the fallout, while Robyn sits silently, the tension almost unbearable. And in that quiet, electric moment, the story is clear. These documents were only the beginning, and the real revelation, the ones that could destroy trust and lives, are yet to come. The courtroom doors open, and the tension within almost causes the air to crackle. Another batch of documents has arrived, heavier, more incriminating, and much more personal than anything that's been revealed up to now. This is the moment where faith is broken, allegiances change, and the Brown family confronts truths they were never ready to face. Meri's hands shake as she reaches for her glasses, her mind racing to piece together years of half-truths and whispered promises. Janelle's jaw tightens, each heartbeat echoing in her chest like a drum of impending disaster. Christine leans forward, eyes sharp, knowing that one wrong move could unravel everything. And Kody, he feels the walls closing in, aware that every secret he tried to bury is clawing its way into daylight. If the person you loved most kept years' worth of secrets, how would you go about accusing them? And what if the truth could tear everything apart? The judge puts on a pair of reading glasses and nods to Kody's lawyer, indicating the beginning of the next, most important phase of the hearing. A dense pile of folders sits in front of him, threatening in its solidity. The atmosphere is thick, heavy, like it might tip into disaster with a misplaced breath. Kody fidgets in his seat, fists gripping the chair, fingers digging into the leather. He looks at Robyn for reassurance, but even her calm is starting to slip. The first folder opens and the words within are more than figures or legalese. They are letters, secret agreements, and clandestine communications that Kody thought would never be brought to light. Meri rocks forward, her eyes wide, scanning the first page. A flicker of incredulity crosses her face, then a growing sense of betrayal. She had believed in him, in the family that he vowed to protect. But the handwriting, the signatures, the very language of these documents, it screams treachery. Janelle's hands clench into fists. This was never intended for us. She breathes to Christine, who slowly nods, her lips set in tight determination and outrage. It's worse than I expected, Christine grumbles, her words very soft but loaded with significance. Each paper unfolds another layer of betrayal so profound, it seems as if the earth is sinking from under them. The judge starts to slowly. Terms such as unauthorized, hidden transfers, and confidential agreements ring out across the courtroom. Every syllable falls like a sledgehammer to the women's security, a reminder that Kody had led a life parallel to theirs, one they never knew existed. Kody opens his mouth, trying to explain, but the room is not kind. The papers tell it all. A chilling account of choices taken without a buyer leave, promises broken, and secrets willfully withheld. Robyn squirms in her seat, aware that she possesses a fragment of the truth capable of tipping the balance even further. Meri's face flushes, tears threatening to spill. She had always tried to rationalize Kody's action, excuse his secrecy, and hope for transparency. But these pages make it impossible. Every line, every signature, every calculated omission screams betrayal. Janelle leans forward, her voice shaking but ringing out over the tension in the room. How could he believe we wouldn't discover it? Her words hang suspended, unanswered, but biting. Christine gasps sharply, shaking her head. He didn't think, he calculated. The judge holds up a hand, asking for order, but even he appears to sense the emotional tempest raging in the room. The next folder is pushed forward, heavier than the previous one. Its very presence seems to tell us. And with every page the walls around Kody's secrets crumble faster than anyone could have imagined. Meri's hands tremble as she opens the folder, revealing personal letters, notes from Kody to Robyn, and financial statements that had been intentionally concealed. The words reveal intention, personal plans, and decisions made without the knowledge of the other wives. Decisions that affect not just the present, but the future of the family. Janelle's eyes go wide, a combination of anger and sadness crossing her face. Christine leans forward, taking in every aspect with purpose, her mind whirling, trying to put this together. The proof is not only legally, but on an emotional level, revealing a part of Kody none of them really knew. Robyn's hands clench the edge of the serenity she displayed earlier giving way to tension. She too can sense the gravity of the revelation, the certainty that these secrets may bring down everything. Kody's jaw clenches. He is aware that the evidence speaks strongly, and any move at explaining may not be enough. The courtroom becomes charged, the silence broken by the soft rustle of papers. All eyes are on the documents, and the women are unable to tear their own eyes away. The truth smacks them with the intensity of a storm. Their family's history, so carefully constructed and shown on television, is merely the tip of the iceberg. And in that instant, their shared past seems like an artfully constructed illusion, poised to splinter into fragments. The judge reclines, looking at the women. We will have to scrutinize each piece of evidence carefully. There are some further documents that might help shed more light on these acts, but their nature is sensitive and extremely confidential. Meri shudders out a breath, fighting to keep back the tears. Janelle's voice is strained as she says, "I don't know if I can trust anything anymore." Christine's eyes flash with determination. "We need answers, and we need them now." Kody glances about, knowing that the room has changed. His once controlling world now seems to be a cage closing in on him. The papers do not only reveal fiscal misbehavior, they expose calculated actions, decisions made intentionally, and a trend of secrecy that none of the women expected. Another folder is produced, even bigger, more ominous than the others. The judge places it on the desk with care, as if sensitive to its power. The women look at each other, aware that whatever is in there might alter everything. The next folder isn't paper, it's a reckoning, and what's inside could redefine trust, love, and loyalty forever. The session goes on with intensifying tension. Each page read reveals more layers of deception. Secretive letters between Kody and his counselors, clandestine bargains with Robyn, and money moves that leave the other wives gasping. The heavy weight of decades of deception crushes them, each new revelation more agonizing than the previous one. Meri grips the bench, swallowing hard. "I thought I knew him," she breathes, voice shaking. Janelle inches forward, eyes narrowed. "I thought I trusted him." Christine leans forward, jaw clenched, eyes scanning each line. The room is a tempest of raw emotion, and Kody experiences the full brunt of it. As the judge indicates a brief recess, the women stand, shaken but determined. Outside, whispers circulate, rumors abound, and the burden of the papers looms over them all. Kody and Robyn go slowly, knowing that the war is far from won. And in that electric silence, there's one truth that's impossible to deny. The hidden documents have started a chain reaction that might turn everything upside down, and the Browns will never look at their family in the same way again. The doors of the courtroom shut, but the tension does not lessen. It becomes thicker, heavier. The women remain in stunned silence, their heads reeling with questions that do not have simple answers. Secrets buried deep, hidden papers, and deceptions carefully constructed by Kody come to the surface, and every new discovery strikes harder than the previous one. Meri's trust begins to erode. Janelle's outrage burns with a fiercer intensity, and Christine's resolve becomes something verging on feral. Robyn stands by quietly, knowing that even her devotion can't save Kody from the tempest he's unleashed. If your family was founded on deception, would you be able to weather the truth? Or would it annihilate all you believed? The gavel of the judge comes down again, marking the resumption of what has been an emotional and tense standoff. The courtroom still feels thick with the weight of prior disclosures, every individual within it consciously understanding that the next few moments could seal their fate. Kody sits tensely, face white, hands lying tensed on his knees. Robyn's hands are clasped tightly together, a faint shudder undermining her apparent calm. There is an electric tension in the air, as though all the secrets locked away in the papers are bearing down on the room itself. Meri's eyes dart across the table, landing on Kody. She tries to steady her breath, but the tremor in her hands gives her away. The first folder is opened again, revealing personal emails and letters that Kody had exchanged with financial advisors, without the knowledge of any of the other wives. Janelle leans in, her own face a mask of anger and incredulity. "All this behind our backs," she whispers low but biting. Christine's head shakes slowly, eyes narrowing, sifting through the papers with cold calculation. "He's been operating a shadow family," she mutters to herself. And in that room, every discovery cuts deeper, creating wounds that won't possibly heal. The judge closely reads the first batch of documents, his voice even but crisp. These records indicate a pattern of decisions made in a non-disclosed manner. All sides will be able to respond. His statement lingers in the air like a challenge. Meri's mind races back to countless family discussions, moments of trust she had placed blindly in Kody. She remembers the mornings of quiet laughter, the nights of whispered plans, now tainted by this growing evidence. Every document is a mirror reflecting lies she never knew existed. Janelle's fists are locked in her lap. Rage flows through her, growing with every new page. "I don't even know who he is," she says to Christine, who just shakes her head in dark recognition. They start to work together to construct a record of years of lying, of financial, emotional, and intimate deception. Kody moves, breaking his silence at last. "I thought I was keeping everyone safe," he says, voice thick, shaking. Robyn looks at him, concern in her eyes, but she does not speak. The words feel heavy, almost ridiculous against the weight of evidence now revealed. The second folder is handed over. The air becomes thick, every breath weighed down by the promise of what is to come and horror. Within are papers documenting land transactions, clandestine contracts, and financial maneuvers made by Kody and Robyn alone. A revelation that twists Meri and Janelle's stomachs. Christine gestures forward, pointing at part of a letter. See this? Promises to Robyn, kept from everyone else. Every word measured. Her voice is cutting, slicing through the courtroom like a knife. Every covert choice, every hushed complicity, every clandestine scheme. The Brown family's foundation is crumbling before their very eyes. Meri's tears fall quietly, though she tries to maintain composure. Janelle shakes her head repeatedly, anger flashing in her eyes, while Christine's expression hardens into determination. Robyn's silence feels heavy. She knows she holds part of the key to this unfolding disaster. The judge indicates the next folder. Its heaviness appears symbolic, as if it holds the last pieces of the puzzle. Kody gulps hard, aware that what they hold could irrevocably change the relationships he has struggled to preserve. When the folder opens, the contents are personal letters between Kody and Robyn, epistles and notes penned in secret, rich with intimate details and implicit promises. The papers reveal choices made consciously to omit Meri, Janelle, and Christine, choices involving not only money, but the very trust that holds a family together. Meri's hands shake violently as she reads, a storm of emotions crashing over her. Janelle's chest tightens, and Christine's eyes flash with anger and heartbreak. Kody's calm facade begins to, and with every revelation, the Brown family teeters on the edge, one secret away from collapse. The courtroom is silent as the judge reads the documents, every so often looking at each of the women. These documents show willful concealment. Everyone ought to think carefully about the repercussion, he cautioned. Meri murmurs, near whispering to herself, how was he able to keep all of this hidden? How was he able to assume we wouldn't be able to see? Janelle speaks more precisely, more forcefully. He wasn't thinking of us. He was thinking of control. Christine reclines, lost in thought, aware of just how deliberate Kody had been. Robyn then responds, her voice soft but resolute. It wasn't meant to hurt anyone. I just didn't know how to deal with it. Her words linger in the room, but they seem inadequate in the face of revelation. The third and last folder of the session is set down on the table, ritualistically. The women look at each other, knowing instinctively that its contents will take them further, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And in that last folder, the truth sits like a cocked gun, waiting to fire, touching no one. Kody's mouth gapes open, but words fail him. The burden of decades of secrets, the glares of Meri, Janelle, and Christine confronting him, and the papers in front of him, all coalesce into an instant of utter accountability. Meri's hands tremble as she lifts a page, reading carefully, absorbing every word. Janelle's eyes burn with fury, and Christine's jaw tightens as she pieces together Kody's carefully hidden narrative. Robyn remains quiet, tension visible in the way her shoulders stiffen. The judge leans forward, shattering the thick silence. We will resume this questioning in the next session. It is obvious these documents will need careful scrutiny, and the emotional effect on everyone involved is undeniable. The meeting concludes, the family remaining in stunned silence. The women rise and leave, their minds elsewhere, heavy hearts full of pain and betrayal. Kody lingers behind, Robyn beside him, both knowing the storm is a long way from over. And as they venture into the unknown, one thing is for sure, the hidden documents have altered everything, and nothing will ever be the same again for the courtroom is charged to the breaking point. Each folder opened, each secret exposed, has pushed the Brown family to a breaking point. Trust has been broken, alliances are strained, and Kody is facing the fallout of years of dishonesty. Meri's hands tremble, Janelle's jaw clenches with anger, and Christine's eyes burn with determination. Robyn appears calm on the outside, but feels the hurricane brewing inside. The hidden documents have been revealed, and now there is no going back. If you thought the last few revelations shook you, wait, because what follows will turn everything you believed you knew about Kody and the family he created upside down. The judge clears his throat, and motion for all to stand. We are prepared to proceed with the final review of evidence, he declares, and tension fills the room. The last folder ominously rests on the table, a physical reminder of the secrets waiting to be unsealed. Kody fidgets in his seat, looking over at Robyn, his fingers drumming impatiently against the table. He knows what is in this final folder has the potential to unravel all that he has sought to defend or manipulate. Meri's hands tremble as she clasps them tightly in her lap. Her heart pounds in her chest, a mix of anger, betrayal, and heartbreak. She had loved Kody, trusted him, and built her life around promises he now seems to have broken. Janelle leans forward, voice strained with emotion. This is it. Whatever is in this folder could change everything, she breathes. Christine's eyes become narrowed, raking the periphery of the folder as if she could see through the paper itself. The judge slowly opens the folder. The courtroom becomes hushed. All eyes are fixed on the pages as he starts reading. Within are papers that expose covert investments, concealed contracts, and private letters Kody believed to be out of sight from the remainder of his family. Robyn moves, aware that some of these are her letters. Her cool exterior is starting to fracture as the implications of the exposure become clear. Kody's choices, her part in it, the emotional consequences, everything is on hold. Meri gasps for air, her eyes flying over the first page. She blinks in amazement as she reads the first letter, comprehending the scope of secret arrangements. I don't believe this, she whispers, shaking voice. All this behind our backs. Each word they read is a betrayal etched on their hearts, and the Brown family might never heal. Janelle's hands tremble with anger as she runs through the financial records. This is not secrecy, it's a pattern, she cries, voice husking slightly. Every decision, deliberately concealed. Christine leans forward, nodding, her eyes burning. It's personal and it's calculated. Kody clears his throat, trying to speak, but the burden of the revelations keeps him quiet. The documents are facts, undeniable, irrefutable, and incriminating. Robyn looks at him, her face a mixture of frustration, fear, and divided loyalty. The judge hesitates, allowing the weight of the moment to settle. The intent behind these papers is clear. Willful cover-up, not just of financial information, but of human relationships in the family. His words ring out, one by one, a hammer against the broken trust in the air. Meri gazes down at her hands as she tries to steady herself. The letters uncover promises to Robyn, arrangements made without consultation, and choices that altered family power. She experiences the betrayal as tangible, a cold pressure bearing down on her chest. Janelle's voice rises, sharp and cutting. All this time, we were left in the dark. How could you think we wouldn't notice? Christine leans back, jaw tight, shaking her head. And in that instant, the carefully constructed image of their family begins to crumble, revealing the raw, painful reality beneath. Kody finally says something, voice soft, nearly on bended knee. I thought I was keeping everyone safe. I never intended to hurt any of you. But the words sag, unable to fill the gap, opened up by all those years of lying. Robyn looks at him, her eyes a tangled line of anger and compassion. Meri stands, voice shaking but firm, protecting us, by keeping us in the dark, by hiding everything while making these choices. Her voice cuts through the room like lightning. Janelle begins, her voice firm, unshakable. We had a right to the truth. We had a right to know. Christine moves forward, every step calculated, measured, yet full of emotion. It's more than betrayal, it's manipulation, and it ends today. The judge motions to the papers. These last papers are not merely fiscal decisions, but individual choices, which have significantly affected the family structure. All concerned will be able to reply formally in writing. Meri exhales slowly, struggling against tears. She glances at the women around her, the silent understanding clear. The papers have revealed a skein of secrets impossible to untangle. Janelle's shoulders drop a little, the adrenaline rush of rage giving way to grief. Christine's eyes soften by just a fraction, though the steel of resolve holds firm. Robyn finally speaks, speaking low. I didn't realize the effect this would have. I believed that I was helping, rather than hurting. Her words echo in the air, vulnerable though they are weighted with complexity. And when the courtroom is silent, the truth sounds louder than words ever could, leaving all hearts within the room bare and vulnerable. The last few minutes of the session are tense, with each woman reflecting the ramifications in her own way. Kody remains seated, quiet, in front of the enormity of the consequences he now cannot avoid. The papers have accomplished what words would not, laying out the complete extent of secret decisions, manipulations, and betrayals. Meri's hands are clenched in her lap, knuckles white, as she contemplates the years of trust broken. Janelle exhales sharply, a mix of relief and anger coursing through her. Hairstein's gaze shifts between the judge, Kody, and Robyn, a silent calculation of what must come next. As the judge brings the session to a close, there is a quiet hush in the room. The papers have spoken. The secrets hidden for so long have now been exposed, and the Brown family is at a turning point. Their relationships changed forever, their trust forever shaken. With secrets finally out, the Brown family has no choice but to confront a reality they cannot escape, and the repercussions will be felt throughout every aspect of their lives. Outside the courtroom, the women walk in silence, each lost in thought, each struggling with what's been revealed. Kody follows behind, knowing that nothing can restore what's been broken. Robyn keeps pace beside him, a quiet observer of the emotional tempest she helped to unleash. Meri's voice shatters the silence. I don't know if we can ever return. Janelle shakes her head, voice resolute. Some things can't be reversed. We have to go forward, but differently. Christine breathes out, a combination of resignation and determination. We need clarity, and what happens next will determine who we really are. The episode concludes, leaving fans to absorb fully the drama, the betrayal, and the emotional angst, a fitting end to a tale of suspense, deception, and raw human emotion. If you were standing in Meri, Janelle, or Christine's shoes, would you forgive Kody, or would the betrayal be too deep? Let us know in the comments below. We want to hear your thoughts.